English football has just been turned completely upside down. Ahead of the 2026 World Cup in North America, Thomas Tuchel has revealed his 26-man squad. And the way he revealed it was anything but ordinary. The Football Association dropped a special film set to the Beatles' iconic track, Come Together. Filmed in New York, the 2-minute, 28-second video opens with an old John Lennon interview. Then it brings each player's name to life across the New York cityscape. Music venues, cinemas, and subtle nods to the cultural impact the Beatles had on America back in the 1960s. It was slick, stylish, beautifully produced. And yet, the moment that glossy film ended and the actual names landed, the entire country went into shock. Because some of the names that were supposed to be on that screen simply weren't there. Today, we're breaking down the most talked about England squad announcement in a generation. The first thing we have to talk about isn't who made it, it's who didn't. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Harry Maguire. 4 of England's biggest names, all axed. Chelsea's Cole Palmer and Manchester City's Phil Foden were, not long ago, considered central to England's attack. But both endured underwhelming club seasons, and the sheer depth in England's attacking midfield sealed their fate. Tuchel had been saying it for months. He has so many number 10s that he simply couldn't take them all. And here, he proved he meant it. But it didn't stop there. The announcement became even more historic for one symbolic reason. There isn't a single Liverpool player in this squad. This is the first time England have named a major tournament squad without a Liverpool player since the 1986 World Cup. That's a 40-year first. And here's the kicker, even in-form players were brutally cut. Nottingham Forest's Morgan Gibbs-White, Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton, Newcastle's Lewis Hall, Manchester United's Luke Shaw, and West Ham captain Jarrod Bowen, all missed the plane despite strong seasons. Sky Sports chief reporter Cave Solhikol summed it up in one line. This is, probably the most shocking England squad since 1998. And if you remember what happened in 1998, that was the year Glenn Hoddle famously left Paul Gascoigne out and stunned the entire nation. Solhikol went even further. Only Tuchel would have picked this England squad. He's left out some of the most talented English players. Now, if players are getting left out, that means others are getting in. And these inclusions were just as shocking. The biggest talking point of all, Ivan Toney. Who is Toney, you ask? He's a striker playing for Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. His total game time under Tuchel adds up to just 7 minutes. A brief cameo against Senegal back in June 2025, and nothing since. And yet this man, who spent 2 years in the Saudi Pro League, has suddenly landed a World Cup spot. Why? The numbers tell the story. Toney scored 32 goals in 32 Saudi Pro League appearances this season, a goal a game. On top of that, he lifted silverware with Al Ahly, including the Asian Champions League. Sky Sports' Peter Smith broke it down like this. Whatever caveats you put on the quality of the Saudi League, Toney has the form. And he's played in a hot, draining climate that mirrors what's coming in North America this summer. And remember his likely role, an impact target man for when England need to go long late in a game. He did exactly that against Slovakia at the Euros. Coming on deep into stoppage time and setting up Harry Kane's extra-time winner. Then there's the truly eyebrow-raising part, the injured players. Newcastle's NO Livramento has missed the past month with a thigh issue, yet he's in. Even more remarkable, Tottenham's Jed Spence was included despite breaking his jaw on Tuesday. And it's Spence who sits at the centre of another firestorm. A Tottenham right-back fighting relegation got picked ahead of Real Madrid's Alexander-Arnold. No comparison in this squad enraged England fans more than that one. On top of all this, 9 players will be making their major tournament bow. Promising talents like Manchester City's Nico O'Reilly, Bayer Leverkusen's Jarell Quansah, and Arsenal's Noni Madueke, all earning shock selections. So what did the man wielding the axe have to say for himself? Tuchel was defiant at his press conference. I love the tough decisions, he opened with. From day one we were clear we were trying to build the best possible team, which is not necessarily the 26 most talented players. Teams win championships, he said. He added, we have specialists for different scenarios, when we're leading, when we're chasing a result. But on cutting the big names, he also revealed the human toll. Tuchel personally called around 50 players across Thursday and Friday. Difficult phone calls, he said. I respect all of them, as players, as personalities. To reduce it was difficult, sometimes painfully difficult. Even in the phone calls I felt the emotion. England's legends, though, weren't so easily convinced. Former England defender Stuart Pearce said he was astounded by the decision to include Toney after 2 years in Saudi Arabia. But Pearce also pointed to the flip side. We have never, in the history of English football, talked about so much talent that we think won't be going to the World Cup. That, for me, is the flip side of the coin. In other words, a backhanded compliment about just how deep England's talent pool has become. Then David Beckham weighed in. Beckham came out strongly in support of Alexander-Arnold. Speaking to TalkSport, he said, "I'm a massive fan of Trent. I've heard so many times, well, he's not as good at defending as he is going forward. Well, sometimes you have to accept that. Roberto Carlos was an unbelievable defender, but also unbelievable going forward." But Beckham also added a realistic note. "That's why I'm not England manager, because I don't have to make those decisions. With Trent, would I take him? I'd find it very hard not to take someone like Trent." The most emotional reaction of all came from Harry Maguire. Maguire took to social media to share how he felt, with a short but heavy message. He was shocked and gutted. And the backdrop to that statement caused controversy of its own. Because Tuchel told players the outcome on Thursday, the news started leaking out. Sky Sports' Rob Dorsett called it the leakiest England squad announcement he'd known across 4 tournaments. The news of Maguire's omission began trickling out around 6 in the evening on Thursday, the night before Friday's official reveal. And onlookers were able to piece the whole squad together in advance. Another thing that set England fans buzzing was Alexander-Arnold's social media. Right after being left out, Trent posted on Instagram with a cryptic caption, "Madrid and nothing else." Naturally, rumors of a rift with Tuchel spread like wildfire. But it was a misunderstanding. Sky Sports' Rob Dorsett cleared it up directly on X, explaining that the caption was simply a reference to a famous Real Madrid song, not a reaction to being snubbed. Dorsett stressed there was no issue between the player and Tuchel, and that the former Liverpool man remains determined to win back his place for the World Cup. So how did the fans actually take it? In a word, polarized. The critics were furious. One fan called it the weakest England squad I've ever seen heading into a tournament, adding, "That defense is horrible to look at." Another lamented, "What an embarrassing day for English football. And I was there for the '98 squad announcement." There was even a cutting, "Has Tuchel been watching the Premier League this season?" But the supporters were just as vocal. One fan said, "We've had years of moaning about England managers being too cautious, picking the obvious players. It's a breath of fresh air to have a manager going against the grain. It shows leadership and confidence." Another backed him fully, "The first ever England manager in my lifetime to not pick players on reputation. Tuchel hasn't caved into outside pressure, and I respect that. I trust that man." Ultimately, the verdict split right down the middle. On one side, Tuchel has finally brought balance with clearly defined roles. On the other, this is a national embarrassment that threw away the country's best talent. And the moment that will settle this raging debate is now just around the corner. England kick off their Group L campaign on June 17 against Croatia in Dallas. They then face Ghana on June 23 and Panama on June 27. 60 years without a major trophy since 1966. And now Tuchel's bold gamble will be tested where it matters most, out on the pitch. So what do you think? Will Tuchel's gamble pay off? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next one.